Hey y'all. So we are back with another episode of Vibrate in Between. And it has been a few weeks since my last episode, and I'm happy to be back. Life was a life in. I was transcending some things. I was present, having fun. And now I'm back and I have a download for y'all. So hold on to your seats. This title, I love it. It just came in. Be blunt with kindness. And the reason why I want to talk about this, and I'm very excited, it's because we deserve to say our shit. We deserve to speak up. We deserve to open up our throat chakras fully. And I know sometimes it could be difficult depending on where you are in your consciousness, where you are in your life, where you are at your jobs, in your relationships. But it is very possible to speak up for yourself and for other people. And this came into my heart. I definitely wanted to touch on this because it's important to know how to advocate for ourselves and for everybody else. You know, we can't walk into life, into our experiences, our day-to-days, and think that everything is just about us, just about getting money, just about going with the flow. Like, yeah, we want our money, we want our bag, we want to pay our bills, we want to have relationship, we want to go with the flow in many ways, in many situations. But it's very important to be intentional. Keyword, intentional. And that connects back to being blunt, being open, being vocal, advocating, using your voice, right? And I say that to say we must do it in a way. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but I'm strongly encouraging everybody to tap into their kindness. Don't be nice. Don't be overly nice. And like, there's a difference. I feel like there's a big difference between being kind and being a nice girl or a nice guy or a nice person. So you don't have to do all the nice BS, right? We can just recognize when our bluntness is being cruel, right? Which we all have been there. We all have said things that was kind of left field, coming outside of our neck, just not the highest vibration when we're being blunt, because, anger can creep up, sadness can creep up. Our delivery cannot be so tasteful or loving or caring. So that's why I want to challenge everybody to look at how we're showing our blunt words. How are we delivering it? What is our approach? Because it's one thing to do it in a kind way, but it's another thing when we do it in a way where we want to instill fear in somebody, or we want to be cruel or overly critical, judgmental towards people we're trying to help. And I feel like the most effective way that we can really help people, guide people, assist is by coming from a place in our hearts that's kind. So compassion, empathy, those play a big role in delivering our message. So if you genuinely want to help somebody, in my situations, I've recognized, whether it be with acquaintances, people I had just met, long-term friendships, relationship I've had, I check myself, I check my energy, and I see, you know what? Maybe I could have said that better. But the most beautiful thing that I've realized from all of this is that even if it didn't land well, even if I didn't hit target, even if it came off kind of like a jolt, like it made someone kind of jump in the inside, and you could see it in their face, you could see it in their body language, you could see like it hit something in them that made them feel kind of uncomfortable. The funny thing is, the beautiful thing about that is that it hit something, right? So it still landed. It still hit something. It still got some gears turning in their head, in their mind. So even if you didn't hit target, but you meant well, right? You did not hit target, but you meant well. You had all the best intentions in the world, but it just didn't land right. You had some residue. You had some subtleties that were coming off a little judgmental, a little weird, a little, it kind of hurt. It kind of felt, it didn't really make them feel all that great, but you meant well. You said it for a reason. You said it because you want better for that person, right? I found that in my situations, it still got people thinking. It still got people looking at themselves, reflecting, doing the inner work, the understanding of not just the understanding, but the inner standing, right? Understanding the insides of yourself, to rethink that, to look at that again, right? To look at the mirror, to see the parallels, to look in a different dimension and be like, that's worth looking at. That's really worth looking at, because Tiara said it for a reason. Tiara said it because she cares. Tiara said it because she's loving. She said it because she wants better for me. She wants me to get out of my own way and not make excuses for myself. She sees me as a victorious person, not a victim. And when we see people's intentions behind their acts, behind their service, behind their words, behind their art, behind their, whatever, yeah, pay attention to the shadow, but also look at the love behind all of the things that they're saying. And be real about, whatever feedback you have for them. If you found it helpful, let them know. If you didn't find it that helpful, let them know. If you found it helpful later, let them know. Say, I prefer it when you talk to me like this. But then also be real with yourself about why you have that preference to begin with. Is it a trigger? Is it something within you that's like, ding, 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 pay attention? It's triggering something in me that is worth healing from. So it's not necessarily what the outside person is telling you that's making you feel hot and bothered. Sometimes it is, but like when you go deeper into the layers, you can be like, let me do that introspection. Let me reflect real quick. Why is this triggering me? Why is this bothering me? Why is this making me rethink this whole thing over and over again? What they said, why did it bother me? Why am I triggered? What's the why behind the what? So when we're conscious enough to ask ourselves that real ass question, that's when healing becomes deeper. It's not, just scratching the surface anymore. You're actually looking within on a deeper level. And you're like, okay, let me give myself some love here, because I didn't realize that thing about myself. I didn't realize that was a hot spot. I didn't realize that was a button to push. And maybe the person who's giving me that message out of love and kindness, but maybe didn't land well with me, they pushed it for a reason. Not trying to hurt me, but to help me see something within me that's worth understanding and revealing. So I say that to say, as I go through my life coaching sessions, my spiritual healing sessions, my energy practices, not only working with the animals, the dogs, the pets, but also working with the humans with their energy, I've gotten feedback. I've gotten direct feedback, and I've also gotten like subtle feedback, whether that be in people's body language, their facial expressions, the way that they communicate with me after the session or during the session. That's what it comes with, yo. Like that, y'all, this is what it comes with. This is why I signed up for this stuff. Because it's important stuff. Like I'm attracted to it. It's not just a job. It's my life's assignment that I signed up for when I became human. And I'm so interested in understanding human behavior and why people do what they do and how we can transcend the bullshit. That's not really bullshit. It's a part of the process. It doesn't always feel that great, but it's necessary for our growth. So when we learn how to love all parts of ourselves, the ego, the spirit, the soul, the journey, the chaoticness, if that's a word. It's a word now if it's not. Just everything, the lows, the highs, the bad, the ugly, the good, the positive. When we really look at ourselves and we're like, wow, what is it really to be human? It's fucking amazing. It's fun. It's a game and I love it. So when I'm working with these people, I don't even look at it as work. I look at it as, just being of service. It requires some level of work, but it's not just about the money. It's not just about, having that feedback. It's about, how am I really showing up for people? How am I really making a dent? How am I really moving mountains? How am I really helping people see how fucking amazing they are? So when I see people beating themselves up and abusing themselves, and maybe they're not conscious about abusing themselves, right? I shake them up with love. I shake them up with empathy. I shake them up. I'm shaking you up. I'm not shaking you up for you to stay the same. I'm shaking you up so that you can see that you have the power within yourself to change in your own way, in your own timing, with my oomph, with my motivation, with my encouragement, with my support, temporarily, because we are not doing this codependency bullshit. We are not doing this codependency. You got to pay me for a whole year, 10 years, 5 years, every single day of your life so that you can get a dose of, my spiritual abilities and, the things I was blessed with. No, we're not doing all that. You already have all this within you in your own way. It's up to you how you tap into that. It's up to you how you recognize that. It's up to you what you want to embody, right? So I'm just a vehicle. I'm just a puzzle inside of this whole big picture. And ultimately, it's all the stuff within you. I'm not going to handhold completely. I'm going to give tips and tools, right? I'm going to help you tap into your own intuition, your own psychic abilities, your own instincts, and whatever you choose to take on, whatever you choose to embrace, that's all on you. I'm just a vehicle. I'm just a vessel, right? We're all vessels. And ironically enough, I'm also learning something about myself through my interactions with the clients, with the dogs, with the birds that I watch, with the humans that I help. I'm also getting feedback. I'm also getting, blunt responses. Whether it's coming from a high vibe or a low vibe, I still ultimately see everything as a high vibe because darkness is just light disguised. I'm sorry. Darkness is just light. Yeah. In disguise. I said that right. So, when I see it like that, nothing is a waste. Whether clients want to continue seeing me temporarily or they had one session and it was like a one and done. Good. Like, I want you to have that much empowerment where you feel like, all right, boom, I'm good from here. I could figure it out on my own. Thank you for the time that you had with me. And I feel like I'm good to go. I'm going to try out other modalities. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to move. I'm going to, get a new partner, whatever. Like, I'm going to be single for a while. You helped me see something I didn't see. And now I feel like I can go on from here. That is the whole point of being vessels. It's not to be this codependent type of mentor or whatever. It's to allow people to have their process with you. I'm like really honored to be that for people. I'm really honored for people to feel that comfortable to reveal so much to me, whether that be very quickly or like a slow revealing of their life and their experiences. But whatever the case is, I know I play a part in their journey, and my job as a spiritual healer, as a spiritual life coach, what have you, it's not even about the titles. Yes, I'm psychic. Yes, I can sense spiritual things go on around me. I can sense energy. I'm really good at reading it, but it's not about the titles. It's about helping people know that they have that shit within themselves. The only difference between me and somebody else, like the average person that comes to me who, is just now scratching the surface about their reawakening process, which is beautiful. The only difference is that I've embodied a lot of this sooner, potentially. And that's why they're coming to me, because they see something within themselves that resonates. And maybe they can't put the words to it. Maybe they don't understand it. Maybe they feel scared. When we go up level to level to level, there's always going to be an ounce of, whoa, like this is new. This is something that I've never explored before. And maybe you'll feel a little wariness. Maybe you'll feel a little fear. Maybe you'll feel a little doubt. But that's the human experience. I still feel those things sometimes whenever I, graduate from a certain level, or I reveal or understand a new thing about myself, spiritually speaking. It's like, whoa, okay, there's a new level. There's some, new devils, what have you. There's some new things. I'm like going light years ahead, moment by moment, year after year. And it's supposed to be like that, because I'm exploring something kind of foreign, but not really foreign, because all of this was already in me to begin with. So when I'm with clients, I let them know, like, that's normal. I'm always going to seek out people who might know a little bit more than me in certain areas. I'm always going to seek out information, research, YouTube videos, whatever, of people speaking about different realms, different dimensions, different aliens, different fucking modalities that I have yet to discover, because none of us know fucking everything, but everything is within us. And I just think that is amazing. That is magical, and it's normal. People keep calling it woo woo, and I'm like, this is just normal. Like, the Matrix has made it seem like we can't be that blunt without being in trouble for something. No, we can be blunt. We can be blunt with kindness. We can be blunt with kindness and say our shit to people who need to hear it, who are open to it, who are receptive to it, who are interested in it. Because obviously we don't want to spiritually trespass. But, it's important. And I think that's why a lot of people don't feel comfortable speaking up and opening up their throat chakra to advocate for themselves and other people. Because we've been so conditioned to believe that our voice does not matter. We've been so conditioned to believe that we're not supposed to speak up for anything. We're supposed to just get our money, keep our head down, keep our head low, shut the fuck up, and do the Matrix bullshit. The Matrix bullshit is beautiful in many ways. I'm not gonna lie. That's why we're here. It's a game. But the whole point of us being here is to learn how to speak up. Even if you don't necessarily use your vocal cords, like let's say you're deaf, you do sign language, that's still a form of speaking up. Maybe you're mute, maybe you don't use your vocal cords, but you can write, maybe you can create art, maybe you can create content, what have you, make music. There's so many ways to use your voice, right? And if you have trouble using your voice, if you have trouble being kind about it, then seeking help, support, is always encouraged. Because listen, let me tell you, I was not always great at being kind. Listen, I got Mars in my first house. I love it because it's fucking amazing. It's the I am. It's all about self. It's the first zodiac, Aries. And I love that about myself. I think it's amazing. I wasn't always happy about using my voice, because I always thought I would be shut down, ridiculed, judged, belittled, and yeah, all that shit happened. It still happens sometimes, but that doesn't mean that I consume myself with that backlash. No, I just do it even more. I speak up even more, even if that pisses people off, because that's how much I would love to see change in this world. Not in a, I'm forcing you to change. No. But if you choose to be in my circle, or if you choose to try to be in my circle, or if you choose to try to be around me in any type of way, best believe I am not going to hold my tongue, because your energy and the spirits that surround you, the energy that surrounds you and that's within you, can't affect me if you don't come correct. If you don't intentionally look at yourself to transcend, to ascend, to evolve in that way, and I entertain that, I entertain your darkness, and there's so much like low vibes going on, and there's gossip and trash talking and, you know, what have you, belittling yourself, abusing yourself. I mean, first of all, why would I want to be around that? I don't. But if I'm around it, I would do it with intentionality of, you are an amazing human being. I'm not going to allow you to abuse yourself in front of me. You deserve better than that. You deserve the best, right? So I need that reflected. How I speak to myself with that positivity and that beautiful light lens, I would need that reciprocated. I would need to be around that type of energy. Anything opposite of that, there's only so much time I can spend around that. And if I am around that darkness, that low vibe, again, intentionally, I will go into that and be honest and be open and be compassionate and kind and let people know things about themselves if they give me permission to do so. And even if they don't give me permission to do so, and I just say one or two things, right, to see if an antenna goes up in their atmosphere, in their aura, that's worth it, because that's me also protecting myself. That's me also going into the relationship, the interaction with intentions to say, hey, I want you to see something, because if you don't realize this now or soon, that just comes with a domino effect of you accumulating more darkness and energies and circumstances that you don't really need to be going through, and if you recognize why my distance is increasing, that's another reason why, that's something to look out for, because I'm not the only one that's going to back up from that person and that energy if they're not receptive to change, because I love myself so much that I deserve to protect my energy. I love myself so much that I deserve to be around higher vibes. I love myself so fucking much that I do not tolerate nonsense. And that's not being a perfectionist. That's not me saying I'm better than anybody else. I do not talk to my clients and tell them, hey, you're better than other people. No, it's a matter of understanding that your energy is so precious that you deserve to be around so much high vibes. And it doesn't mean people don't have their bad days, so-called bad days or bad moments. It just means that you're conscious enough to recognize your mess, and you choose to not be so messy. You choose to not make messy decisions. You choose to be more mature spiritually and be energetically responsible, that is so fabulous. Like, who wouldn't want to try to do that? I think that's a great thing to strive for. Again, with fun, with happy-go-lucky nature, with peace in your heart and grace, and be like, you know what? I'm doing the best that I can. And that's amazing. And I'm looking forward to the next level and the next level, because nobody is perfect as a human, but we are perfect as spirits. We just have to remember where the fuck we come from. We have to remember where we come from. And that's how it just becomes better and better, where you master your perfection. Listen, when it comes to a certain astrology chart that I use, different ones say different things, but I'm gonna look at this one real quick. I have Virgo in my 12th house, my Virgo sun in my 12th house. And when I look at that, Virgo is all about health and wellness and humanitarian type of essence. And we do things in a way where we're trying to get things done in a as close to perfect as possible, but perfect doesn't really exist. But when I look at my spirit, like the way I was created, I'm fucking amazing, right? We all are. And that being in my spiritual house, the unconscious house, which is naturally ruled by Pisces, the Lord of Pisces, then you mix the dreaminess and the magic all together with the wellness. And I just look at that as holistic healing. I look at that with my psychic abilities. I look at that with, how can I love that part of myself, which seemed so scary at first, but I was so eager to walk like Jesus as an example, because we all have that ability to do so. We all have that ability to do so. That was the teachings of Jesus. You can do what I do. I'm not supposed to be worshiping Jesus. I'm here to be Christ-like. I'm here to give love, Christ consciousness, spark some minds, spark some hearts, spark my own heart, shit, and just learn how to take steps, baby steps, or even leaps, fucking run different areas of my life where I can ascend and transform for the better. For the better. And it's such a fun ride, y'all, because my throat chakra has opened up so much. I don't give a fuck. I truly don't. I know a little doubt will try to come through every now and then, but I just make friends with my shadow. I'm like, all right, thank you, homie, for letting me know that part of me is a little scared. What can I do about that? What can I do about that? How can I pray about it? How can I meditate? How can I be creative to let all that out and transcend it? We don't have to be stiff and strict about it. We can just recognize it intentionally, right? With empathy and compassion, and understand that that's a part of the process. And how amazing is that? So I encourage everybody to look at their hearts, understand it's good to be blunt, because sometimes you just gotta say shit to rock the boat a little bit, right? To be honest, transparent. That is a pure form of love, just like saying it how it is, man. But make sure it comes from empathy, compassion, unconditional love, not judgment, not criticism, but to shake somebody up, to be like, hello. Because sometimes we gotta do that for ourselves. Like, let's be honest. Sometimes we gotta do that for ourselves because we could be a little hard-headed. And when we give ourselves grace about it, to break patterns that don't serve us anything good anymore, we don't need to protect ourselves in a chronic way. We can just allow things to flow with intention. Both, right? See how I said flow? Flow like water, but with intentionality. So stay grounded. Earth, water, right? Air, fire. No matter what sign you are, no matter what your chart looks like, that is the basis, that is the core, that is the foundation of our experience. Flow, right? But be grounded in it. Be intentional, but be so open to the unknown that you're not even attached to expectations. You just say shit how you mean it. When you say no, mean it. When you say yes, mean it. When you have a message for yourself or somebody else, let it come from the heart. But make sure your heart has love and forgiveness and compassion, or have it be well on its way to tap into those beautiful energies. And if it didn't land well, take responsibility, take accountability on, any fears, doubts, or worries, or low vibes, sense of lack and scarcity that may have crept up a little bit. But even that, you can look at that and say, you know what? I learned something from that. And I had really good intentions. And I really do pray that that message still helped somebody. Okay? Because that's important to recognize. That light still is there. But you gotta dig it out. You gotta recognize it. You gotta see it. You gotta see light in every situation. Underneath any shadow, any darkness, anything. And, take the feedback. If people are like, I love it when you do this. I love it when you do that. And then in a way, kind of play devil's advocate as you take that feedback and you apply what you can. And you say, I also want to ask you something. Why did that trigger you? I like the trickery behind it. I like the seeing both sides of things. I love learning about that. I love seeing how we can better ourselves and better each other. I love understanding communication behind it all, right? It's intriguing. It's so fascinating to me. Because it's worth asking the question. It's worth asking, how can I be blunt in a kind way? How can I be more kind? How can I speak that person's love language? But also, how can I help them see their trigger and help them go a little deeper so that they can recognize that the common denominator to any of this shit to begin with is the wound within ourselves. Why did that affect you? Why did you allow it to affect you? What did you not like about it? Did I personalize something? Did I internalize something? Because none of us are victims. We're victorious. And if we are God-conscious beings, then nothing outside of us can really penetrate. I'm not saying you're not going to feel hurt or sad or mad or confused. That's the human experience. But if you're consumed by it, if you're dwelling in it, if you're fucking frustrated about it, that was deeper and it was there before someone even said something to begin with. And that's the introspection. That's the inner standing. Not just understanding, inner standing, where we become more mature spiritually. And we're like, oh, ding, 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 light bulb moment. Whether that person said it kind or not, why did it hurt you? There wouldn't be a pushing of a button if the button didn't exist to begin with. Look at your button. Why was it there? What story did you create for yourself to make you feel very comfortable in your victimhood? And I'm not saying that people don't do that shit. We have all done that. I have been there. Listen, I have to check myself a lot to remind myself oh, okay. Let me build up the healthy side of my ego so it edifies me, so I don't even have to allow anything to really hurt me. As soon as I feel it, I allow myself to feel it, and I ask myself that question. I befriend my shadow. I'm like, cool, thank you, homie. And then I let that other stuff just roll off my shoulder. More times than not lately, thankfully. And it's not always easy because that's the game about, being the human. But again, the fun part is also that, not that you're numb to it, but it's more of I just know who I am. It's kind of laughable. You really think that about me? Or damn, you said it like that. I think that's kind of funny though. When you get to the point where you actually can laugh and still see someone's intentions, especially if they were just trying to help you. Maybe they were projecting something. Maybe they were there was some, something about it where you just felt like, oh, zoop in your gut, or you just felt, like a little disturbed by it, but you knew they meant well. You knew they had a little bit of pain in their own way. You knew that, it's not even worth taking personal. You're just like, oh, they weren't even trying to hurt me. Or maybe someone was trying to hurt you. Just laugh it off. When it becomes a lot more easier to just laugh something off, you've progressed in so many ways spiritually. And that's called healing. Doesn't mean that you'll never feel mad ever again. That is not the point, y'all. That is not what I'm saying. That's not true. That's not even being honest. That's not, everyone will get upset. Okay? But when it gets to a point where you're like, well, fuck it. Let me be mad for a little bit. And then that little bit turns into, that just took me 10 minutes or 5 minutes instead of days. Cool. Because no one really wants to feel mad. But if you do, give yourself grace. Tell people how you feel. Be blunt, but be kind about it. And the way we can become more kind is learning how to speak to people's inner child when we give a message. Even if you're talking to an adult, like if you're talking to an adult, look at their inner child. Because I think very conscious beings will talk to a child in a more, soft way. But we can recognize the adult is an adult, right? They can take things that are like more blunt. Obviously I wouldn't advise just saying anything any old way to a child. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when we talk to adults, common sense, when we talk to adults, we can understand where our heart is when we read their body language, and we read them and we say, and I just want to let you know, I'm not judging you. I really care about you. Just add those extra words. If you said something like, girl, listen, we're already in a new world. The time is now. If people don't get their shit together, they're going to be, for the lack of a better way of saying it, be left behind, and you're going to be in a different timeline that still is going to get you to the route that you want to go. But it's still, do you really want to go through all that unnecessary suffering? But at the same time, you could look at that and be like, it is still necessary in its own way, but you get to choose a timeline you want to be on. What type of abundance do you want to accumulate? Do you want to accumulate abundance of lack, or do you want to accumulate abundance of wealth and health? So if you say it straight like that, and you're stern about it, and you said it with like direct energy, right? It has some masculinity behind it. It has some behind it, right? And that person looked at you like, oh my God, what the fuck? And then you have that sensitivity within you to give an extra layer behind it of nurturing. Well, you cater to that reaction. You got that from that person. And you're like, and sweetie, I hear you. I validate how you're feeling. But you deserve to get out of that funk. You know how victorious you are? See what I did there? So that's an example of something that I've gone through with a client before. And I could see that she was a little wary because I said it straight up, and I was just like, listen. But I had so much pockets of like soothing, softness, gentle, a lot, because I could tell she was yearning for a lot of femininity, nurturing motherly essence in that way, because she didn't grow up with that. So when I gave her that, I could feel her melting. But I also didn't want her to go into damsel in distress. So I gave her a lot of the other side of me, which is making sure she sees my assertiveness and my tone, to understand that she also has that in herself. The straight spine, right? The straight spine. Shoulders up, head up. You can do that. And when I've gotten that mixed bag of energy of all that type of love from mentors of mine, people who saw me temporarily as holistic healers. When I got that healing from people, and it was like women who gave me both. It wasn't like, oh, sweetie, oh, no, and I hear you, and trauma bonding. And it wasn't like, it wasn't that. It was a mix of nurturing softness with a nurturing directness. And I look at that as being blunt with kindness. When I got both from women who were like, literally, get your shit together. Literally telling me that, like, in their own way, but like straight up, like, you deserve to get your shit together. You deserve to eat, girl. How much money do you need? You know, like, just saying it straight up like that. And that shook me up because I didn't feel coddled. I was so used to being coddled, trauma bonding, you know, let's have a girl talk, in a way that didn't always help me. I mean, then you mix that up with the gentleness. Then I really improved my life. I really did. And we shook up that notion on what femininity means. Femininity doesn't just mean, and that's going to be a whole different podcast, yo, because I'm so tired of what I'm seeing on the internet. Ugh. But people are doing the best they can. I get it. But we really need to redefine. A lot of people are doing wonderful with that, but we need more conversations about what being feminine means, man. It's not just about the and oohs and ahs. It's about, you can be direct and still be feminine. You can still tell your homegirl or your female client and be like, listen, you are not a victim. And I get it. That approach doesn't work for everybody. But again, you have to, that person that's like, damn, I can't take that type of feedback. That person needs to look at themselves and ask, like, why can't I? What is it within me that's not able to take that truth? Why does it hurt? Is it a mother wound? Is it a father wound? Did I get talked down to so much my whole life where now I can't even discern between who's out to get me with a certain tone of voice versus who's trying to help me with a certain tone of voice? Because as soon as people stop hearing the oohs and ahs and they hear like directness and assertiveness and confidence in the throat, it's like they don't know how to distinguish and discern, and they take that as an attack, or they take that as, I'm doing something wrong. You're not doing something wrong. You're just confused. And it's okay to be confused because, like I said in my other episode, you know, confusion is a step closer to clarity. So give yourself grace for being confused. But you got to ask yourself that question. Why am I confused? How can I gain more clarity? I'm really open to gaining more clarity. Don't stay stuck in the confusion, right? So that was a lot. As always, I try to keep it to 30 minutes, but it went over. It's almost 45 minutes now, but I enjoyed this episode as I always do. And I benefited greatly from even just giving out this information, because when I give it out, it's not just for myself. It's not just for y'all. It's for both of us. It's for everyone who resonates with it. It's a great reminder of how wonderful we are. So I encourage you guys, and I'm going to continue to encourage myself because I'm not perfect, but we can definitely do better and master this communication skill. How can we be blunt with loved ones, with strangers, with people we do projects with, when we're at our jobs? How can we be blunt with more kindness, but just saying it like it is? Without feeling like, damn, am I feminine enough? Am I masculine enough? Just be you. Be you. Don't care about what people think about you. Have good intentions. Learn from your delivery and your approach. Deliver with kindness. Have it come from your heart. Learn other people's love languages. Do the best you can, because you can't meet everybody's expectations, because that is robotic and that is not fair and that is not real. When you say it, you said it with a point. There was a point behind it. It's up to the other person receiving it. If they even want to receive it, if they even care to receive it, if they care to be introspective. Can't make them. It's up to them. You did your part. Let them do theirs. Everyone is God, and we can do this shit. Love and light always, y'all. Don't be afraid of darkness. Don't be afraid of your own shadow. Drink your water. Mind your business. Love on yourself every single day. Give yourself grace. Love y'all. Positive vibes. See y'all in the next one. Peace.